Welcome to the Business Spotlight. I'm Brenda Hector, and with me today I've got Craig Roy from the Whisky Bothy in Stonehaven. Welcome, Craig. Thank you for joining me.
Hi, Brenda. Thank you for having me.
No, it's great to hear your story. So, first off, tell us about the Whisky Bothy.
Well, the Whisky Bothy, something I've been thinking about for a few years now. As time has gone on, it's been something that's built in my head, and eventually I decided it was time to kind of make things happen. I had a slight accident with my arm last year, which put me out of work for a little while, so I decided it was time to kind of get my head down and kind of start getting things in order. And the little shop came up in Stonehaven at the right time, so I decided, yeah, better just get moving into it. And yeah, just been slowly building it.
So, is whiskey a passion of yours?
It's something I enjoy. Yeah, it's I used to be a manager in the license trade, with pubs and restaurants. So it was something I was familiar with. I definitely enjoy my whiskey, although I wouldn't say I go through a lot of it. It can last me quite a few months a bottle. So yeah, it's I can't always taste all the bottles as some folk want me to try, but I'll definitely give it a go if it's available.
And is it only whiskey that you've got there?
No, we bring in whiskey. At the moment, we've got gins, rums, and vodka. All our products are Scottish companies, usually small artisan distillers. This week, I should have the first Scottish absinthe coming into the shop, so something a bit different as well. And I try to make sure that it's something that's not normally available in our area, so there's something new and something different for people when they come in.
I guess for a small shop like you, there will be what's the word I'm looking for? Goodness me, the volume, the whiskies and the drinks that people recognise on the supermarket shelves. That's not something that you're trying to.
No, I don't. If it's the Glenfiddich or Jura, any of the kind of standard, they're all very nice whiskies. They're whiskies I've drank in the past myself. But if the co-op locally is selling it, there's no really point to me selling it. You're just coming into a kind of price comparison, and so I like to kind of bring in things that you don't normally see. You know, your parts of the country you go to, you suddenly see something you've never seen this before, and you think, wow, where can I get this? And that's the gap I hope to fill.
Fantastic. So, and you're very recently opened. So, how's it been the first few weeks? Months?
It has months. Yeah, it's been it's had its highs and it's had its lows. There's not been any kind of magic change in trade. You can't really judge it. Certainly, it was good at Christmas when I opened initially. It kind of managed its way through the first few months of the year, and it started to pick up again. Especially now you're starting to see the tourists coming back into Stonehaven at this time of year.
Good. So yeah, it's not all an easy road, I guess, would be the.
No, I don't think many businesses are. I think it's perseverance. There's days you doubt yourself, and then there's days that you think to yourself, "Oh, I'm doing really well." So yeah, it helps to keep in touch with other people doing similar kind of businesses. They kind of give you a boost. Certainly, I was met with a guy yesterday from Kirkintilloch who has a similar shop, and he says, you know, sounds like I'm in the position that he was in 4 years ago, and he's doing quite well. So I think it'll trundle along.
Good to know. And then I guess in Stonehaven there are a lot of nice little independent shops. So is there a community of retailers within Stonehaven as well?
Yeah, I think there was a little while where I think personally that Stonehaven was losing a lot. I had a lot of empty shops, losing a lot of trade, but that was probably off the back of COVID. Over the last year or so, you've started to see a lot more starting to come back. Town's really coming back to life. I myself, there's been a row of, we've got a little cafe noir next door. And the other side of that, we have Haven's Treasures, a little gift shop full of all manner of things, which is really great. So you kind of have a little trifecta. We try to pass business between the three of us and anyone else in the area that if they're looking for something specific that we don't cater for.
Well, it's good to know that there's support there rather than a competitive feel to the
Yeah.
Yeah. So am I right in thinking that this is not your first business? You've been in business before?
Originally, I am a mechanic to trade. I did many years in that before I went into the license trade. And off the back of all the redundancies back in 2016, I opened my own business, fired up motorcycles, repairing bikes. It was doing reasonably well, but like I say, last year I had an accident where my arm was damaged, and it took a 3-month recovery time. And in that time, that side of that business just couldn't function. And that's when I started thinking about the Bothy more. And being nearly 50 or coming up on 50 this year, I don't really want to be crawling about my knees any longer and go back to having motorcycles as my fun time rather than a job.
So as in your journey as an entrepreneur, then what have you learned about yourself?
Ooh. I think I definitely takes me a while to find my confidence. Not always the first off the mark to make something happen. I have to consider it quite a bit. And usually I think I make the right decisions where it counts. What else?
Is that something, is that a strength that's been of value to you as a business owner, or is it something that might have held you back a bit, do you think?
Yeah, I think it's probably slowed me down at times. Where I wanted to, but I've probably been thinking about this for over 2 years before I actually did it. It took something significant to happen to me to make me think, right, sit up and think, I need to change this. Something needs to change now. And that's, I probably always needed that little push. And where my family have always been supportive of anything like that, there's still that doubt in my mind that I need to kind of get past. So yeah, I suppose I kind of felt with last year, I had nothing to lose. I might as well try it. And that's kind of, and it's helped. And since then I've just kind of pushed through, and it's kept going. So yeah, definitely the lack of confidence is my main thing. But as I say, I've usually found my way to push through it and kind of get things going. You're always worried that you're not the expert, that someone's going to come in and bamboozle you with all this information. But not everyone is an expert. You don't have to be. Just having a good understanding of business, I think, is the main thing.
And I suppose you can draw on the experts if you're buying from the distilleries or wherever, then they can be your support.
Yeah, I mean, when I say experts, I mean the customers that may come in and think they know everything. And I had a very similar experiences with the motorbike business, where they had a very narrow view of what their particular model of bike was and what it needed and what was wrong with it. But that didn't pan across the whole spectrum. Every bike wasn't the same. And they expected me to have that same knowledge of that particular model in that particular year, which again, you have a broad understanding, there are essentials that are basic in that field, and you need to apply and go through the process. So yeah, similarly, you have people that are particular fans of a particular distillery and they know everything about it, and they think that I must know everything about it, and I don't always. I don't pretend to, but I'm always interested to learn.
And I guess they would be delighted to inform you.
They love to inform me. They love it.
Yeah. So another question that I'm thinking is, who's been your biggest supporter? Where has the support come from? Because I know that you can't start a business or run a business as a single person. So yeah, where's the help and support come from for you?
Well, I mean, it's always my wife, Catherine. She pushes me to try and do the things that I should be doing. When I think she recognises when I lack that confidence, and she pushes it. She's a business owner herself, so she works by herself as well. She does reflexology, massage, and all manner of interesting things. Yeah, so she's been my biggest supporter. She's been the one that pushes and puts me in steers me in the right track when I'm looking a little bit demented.
That's a good term. I think every business owner is a bit demented at times. Yeah.
Frantic, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It's yeah.
What have been the big challenges then?
I think for me, there's the financial side of it. At this moment, you know, I had to. It's the decision is that everything that's earned in the shop is going back into the shop, and the effort to try and build things back up. So yeah, the home financially is a challenge. We're in the lucky position where we're getting by. But my view is the first year I was never going to really make money. The idea was just expand on stock to try and give me a good range that people would want to come here and know they're going to find something different. So yeah, that's definitely the biggest one. Getting past the money, how you paying the bills, and all those kind of fears, I think is the main one.
So are you comfortable with cash flow forecasting and, you know, budgeting and that sort of thing? Or is that something you've had to learn?
It's something I've had to learn more of. When I say I was in the licensing trade, it was for big companies such as Beefeater and Belhaven. So although you were doing management, certain things were done in head office. You know, all the forecasting was, that was all kind of, and you were basically set your target and what you were expected to achieve. So you could focus on that. Whereas now, yeah, it's obviously all on me. Figure out where we're going, forecasting, and how it's. And to be honest, the first year I think it's pure guesswork almost at the moment. I think, how much am I going to make in August? I don't know. Hopefully it'll be a good month along the whole of summer. And yeah, it's difficult, but yeah.
I guess once you've got a year under your belt, then you can be making comparisons and
that's right. Yeah,
seeing the growth. But until you understand the seasonal fluctuations, yeah,
that's it. So no.
Yeah. So if you had a piece of advice for someone, so that's you, 6 months or so in, if you had a piece of advice for someone that's got that idea's niggling away and they're thinking, will I do it or will I not? What would be your piece of advice?
I think it's always good to have someone in your court. When I first decided to go ahead with it, the first thing I did was I registered with, I forgot the name of the group. Oh, sorry.
Business Gateway? Business
Gateway, yes. And you get, obviously, they give you a mentor, and they provide, my mentor, Sean, is able to provide me with a lot of information. Some of it I found worthwhile, some of it I found repeating on things that I already knew, but it was good to freshen up on. So that was my main thing. And obviously, if you can source someone that is doing something similar and they're willing to give you a little bit of advice, obviously, if it's someone that's a direct competitor, they may not be too keen. But if it's someone a little further afield, maybe they'll give you a bit of their own knowledge and understanding of what's happening and what they expect in the market, which I've used a couple of further afield people just for info, and they've been really helpful and really chatty, and passing on what they think.
That's something that comes up a lot in these interviews, actually, that when you ask people for help, most people are delighted to help if they can. I think that's a great thing as part of a business community, really.
Yeah, I think that is definitely what I found. People are proud of their businesses. They want to know that they want you to know that they're being successful. And obviously, if they're successful, they've got things that they want to let you know that they've done. Especially as I say, if you're not a direct competitor to them, you're not going to cause them any issues as such. So yeah, that's and that's what I think of that. I think it does okay. Sorry.
Did you always want to have your own business?
I think I got to the point, I'd done different roles in management over the years, and I found that no matter where I was in the management chain, there was always someone above me that knew better or thought they knew better, and they weren't seeing the actual things happening. All they saw were the figures on a piece of sheet. They didn't think about what the people felt or the people under you were doing and how they were committed to things. If it was on a sheet and it didn't compute for them, then they didn't really want to know. And I think after starting the motorbike business, I knew that I didn't want to go back to working for someone. I knew that I didn't want to be the under manager passing on information from above that has made the decision, but I've got to make it look like it's my decision and it's good for the company. I just don't agree with that side of things.
Yeah, very common. The amount of business owners I talk to that said, oh, I can't go back to a job now. I can't go back to working for someone else. Once we've felt this freedom.
Yeah. Well, I think that's, I did do an area manager job with a large soft drinks company. I won't say their name, but that was very much that really opened my eyes as to there was no no real compassion for the people that were doing the work. It was all figures, and the figures didn't work. Then people were put in boxes and they were a problem, and I just don't agree with that. I think if you've got to look after everyone, and I've just got to look after myself at the moment. So
that was my next question. Is it just, are you building a team of staff yet?
No, I don't think there's not the return yet. The hope is that come by the end of the year, that the business will be sustaining itself in a much more profitable style, a bigger turnover, and that's when I'd be looking at. It might have to wait till springtime, but we'll see. It depends. The tourists depend on how much business they bring, but I also want the locals and people from the areas around us to come and know that there's something different, similar to the whiskey shops in Aberdeen and Inverurie as an example. If you're going to go there, you're going to get a good product and probably find something different too.
Yeah. Yeah, I am familiar with both of those shops, so yeah. Yeah, love it. Do you have a tasting room as well then?
No, not currently. The shop, or the Bothy, is the Bothy because it is a very small shop. There's limited space, but that's for the time being. As the business grows, maybe there'll be a larger premises in the future, but certainly I probably have a plan of at least 2 to 3 years here before I start to think further, unless there's a miraculous influx of trade somehow.
And do you do tastings? So do you go out and about? And
I haven't done that yet, but in the coming months, I will be looking to do that in conjunction with the Cafe Noir next door. It's ideal spot, so we can get 20 people in there and do some tastings in there. But I'm planning it out at the moment, so it's once I get a better idea and understanding of what I need in it, we'll go with it.
Fantastic! Let me know when those are starting.
I will.
And what's your favourite tipple in the shop at the moment?
I would say it's the Aberfeldy 12-year-old. That's the one I've got open at the moment for myself at home. It's a nice smooth one, so yeah, I've got to work my way through them and see which ones I like the best. So it's going to take time. I know, it's a difficult life.
Yeah.
I just don't want to get the reputation of the guy that's slightly tipsy in his shop.
It's yeah, it's the culture of the what you're selling. Yeah,
That's
nice.
it.
Yes. So one last question then, Craig, before we finish. I ask a lot of people this. If you could go back to your 18-year-old self, what would you say to him?
I think believe in yourself more than you do. I think I'm quite a different person from what I am now. Yeah, definitely. Having been born and raised in Glasgow, yeah, at that point I was a quite rough apprentice mechanic. Probably didn't see past where I was going at the weekend. So yeah, I think probably have a bit more confidence in your decision making, and yeah, it's a tough one. Yeah, I think that's it. I think my issue has always been a lack of confidence and committing to things. But once I do it, I can get there. But it takes me an awfully long time to make that decision. So I do wish I could tell myself to have a bit more confidence in myself, and know that if you're going to do it, you'll do it well.
Well, you know, knowing that that's something that's an issue for you, and still getting over that and
Yeah.
opening your dream little shop, I think it's yeah, well done you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to be down in Stonehaven next week, so I'll be popping in past.
Oh, well, I look forward to seeing you then.
I'll look forward to coming in. So yeah, anybody can find you then, Whisky Bothy in Stonehaven. And what opening hours? Are you open every day or?
No, currently it's Wednesday to Sunday, 10 to 5:30 through the week, 10 to 4 on a Saturday, and 12 to 4 on a Sunday. But hours may change, so keep an eye on Google and Facebook if there are any updates on that.
Fantastic. We will all be following you there, and wish you every success with your new venture.
Great, thank you.
Thanks for being on the Business Spotlight, Craig.
No, it's great. Thank you for having me.